everyone, my name is Jack. I'm a 23-year-old real estate investor and soon-to-be attorney, and on this channel I cover a variety of topics as they relate to real estate, investing, the markets, and pretty much everything as it has to do with personal finance. So if you like that sort of content, be sure to have a look around the channel, and if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. But in today's video, I want to talk about Pfizer CEO and what he just did, and Pfizer being the company that just released that very promising report about a coronavirus vaccine that apparently is 90% effective, according to the report they released. However, the day that was announced, the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, actually sold off over half of his shares of Pfizer. That ended up being about $5.6 million in shares being sold. Naturally, this was met with a lot of skepticism from the media, and myself included, about why would a CEO choose to sell off all this stock when his company seems primed to profit quite handsomely from a vaccine for a worldwide pandemic. Wouldn't it make sense to hold on to this stock for at least another year if it's set to explode in value if this vaccine really does prove fruitful? Now, some people have accused Bourla of actually doing insider trading, which really doesn't seem to be the case here, and I want to explain why. Insider trading is where an executive or some insider in a company has some sort of information that's not readily available to the public, and then they trade on that information. Then, when the information is actually released publicly, they avoid any of the harm that would have been done to their stock price since they already got out early. Now, in this case, if it actually was insider trading, you'd expect Bourla to have sold before he made the announcement about the vaccine, if the vaccine news was actually going to be bad, like they had a huge setback in their process or something like that. Since he and other insiders would have been privy to that information before the public, if he went and sold off his shares to avoid the losses that he might have faced by releasing the information, that would have been insider trading most likely. Insider trading is very illegal and has lots of penalties associated with it, and you're not going to get away with it in most cases if it's very obvious like that. But that's not what happened here. The information that the person would have traded on was readily available to the public. He didn't make this trade until the day of the announcement, but it still raises a lot of eyebrows since he sold over 60% of his shares in Pfizer, $5.6 million to be exact. And if he's still driving the ship as CEO, why would he want to do that? There are a variety of reasons why he might have wanted to sell the stock. He is 59 years old, so he's getting near retirement age. I don't know how long he's planning to stay at Pfizer in a CEO role at least. Maybe he wants to be more of a minority shareholder and not really an executive. Maybe that's what he wants to do. I'm not too sure. After all, he still does have millions of dollars in outstanding shares with Pfizer, so it's not like he totally cleaned himself out or something like that. And apparently this was part of a predetermined plan by Mr. Bourla to actually sell these shares at a certain price. Back in August of this year, apparently, he filed a routine form to say that he had this predetermined stock sell-off plan, and that would hopefully keep it in line with insider trading laws. So he apparently made this call a while ago that he was going to be selling the stock at some predetermined price if it hit that price. Naturally, since the vaccine announcement, Pfizer stock has traded up, although not necessarily as explosively as you might expect. Partially, I wonder because of this news that he sold off so much stock immediately after the announcement. But even with the predetermined plan, you'd think that he might want to alter it at some point leading up to the announcement if he really thought that things were going to go well. I'm not sure what sort of goals he has financially or what he's really going for, but maybe there are some missing details here that we don't know about this vaccine. Maybe it's really not as good as it might be on the surface with the 90% effectiveness. 90% effectiveness at what? Stopping the virus for a week? For a month, for a year, who knows what it is exactly. Maybe there are a lot of missing details here that we're not really privy to yet. And rather than face the risk of having the stock price come down, he decided to sell off his shares because it was a sort of pump and dump, maybe. Now, I'm not saying this actually happened, but a pump and dump is where a person uses something like their influence or the media to pump up a stock's value by spreading false information or maybe misleading information to try and get hype for the stock. As the hype grows, the stock price will shoot up, and then the person will sell out at the top before reality sets in and people realize that the hype was just hype and that the information that the person was saying was either false or misleading, and then they'll back off. Pump and dumps like insider trading are also illegal, but they are something that a person like Albert Bourla in his position could have done. He could have used the media to say, hey, we got this great vaccine, I really want to cash out. That pumps up the stock, he sells out, and now he's all good even when the stock comes crashing down if there's future news that the vaccine's actually bad. Again, not Not saying it's actually a pump and dump. I don't know what exactly was going on behind the scenes or what exactly Bourla knows or what we don't know. So it's just a theory, not an actual prediction. I would tend to think that all he's doing is cashing out and avoiding any risk of things going wrong in the future. Not that he's actually privy to any sort of information that we're supposed to know about before he makes any moves. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You might be far more critical and far more pessimistic, and you might think this was blatantly illegal, but that's not what I'm going to argue here since I don't really have that evidence and I don't see it, at least yet. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. The world of securities fraud law is very complicated, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through when you're an insider. If you're going to try and sell or buy shares, there are a lot of rules you have to follow, a lot of disclosures you have to make. So a lot of the checks in place to kind of stop a lot of this bad behavior are there. They're not perfect, and they don't stop all securities fraud and foul play, but they do stop a lot of it. It remains to be seen how effective this vaccine will be at scale, as well as if it'll actually be approved in the United States by the Food and Drug Administration, as well as if it is approved, if Pfizer will actually be able to distribute it successfully. There's a lot more things that need to happen before Pfizer can really cash in on a potential vaccine deal. So maybe Bourla's just hedging his bets, wants to cash out while the going is good, even if it might be better in the future, and now he has a nice retirement plan set up. It's hard to argue at selling off at a massive profit, even if there might be more profits to come, especially when you're later in your career and you might have other priorities. Not saying it's not suspicious, but there are plenty of justifications that could make it plenty okay. Obviously, if more evidence of wrongdoing or foul play comes out, I'll definitely be sure to cover it on the channel, and the financial media will definitely be on it as well, since that would be major news. I did want to use this video as an opportunity to explain what insider trading actually is and how that's not really what happened here. Definitely the evidence does not suggest that's what it was, since it really wouldn't make sense. However, it could be a pump and dump. I highly doubt it is, but it has the makings to be something like that, not true insider trading. While I definitely don't think it was a pump and dump, I'll definitely be keeping my eye on it in any event. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. If you like this video, please like it since it helps the channel out a lot. And if you like this sort of content about the markets, stocks, investing, real estate, and everything as it relates to personal finance, again, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new updates since I put out new videos every single week. And definitely check out my book, The One Property Retirement, about a simple strategy for building your retirement nest egg using real estate. It's great for beginners who might be unfamiliar with how to actually go through with purchasing a piece of real estate, since it takes you from the very beginning, from running the numbers and vetting the deal, to actually getting to the closing table, through the closing process, and beyond with maintaining and renting out the property. If you end up reading the book, definitely leave a review on Amazon since that would help me out a lot. But until next time, take care.